Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here to discuss a White River Sioux myth/legend from the book American Indian Myths and Legends. As you can see from this end of my bookshelf, I have a collection of fairy tales, folk tales, myths and legends from so many different cultures, and Pantheon Books is among one of the publishers that really does a great job putting them together. This particular collection of American Indian myths and legends is selected and edited by Richard Erdoes and Alfonso Ortiz. And the particular tale that I'm going to be talking about today is Rabbit Boy. And this one was told by Jenny Leading Cloud. Rabbit Boy is an example of the origins of how we came to be. The tale that the Sioux would tell those to the younger generations. And like many of the native tribes, the Sioux believed in the fact that all living creatures and living beings were the same. The human, the animal, the plant, all were equal, which is a contrast to the colonist who believes in human superiority. And in this world, back in the day, there was, legend said that humans were able to interact with animals as if they were they were just, not only were they on equal footing, but they were able to understand one another, whether it be physically, verbally. And in this case, Rabbit Boy came to be when a rabbit found a blood clot-like pouch, which is described as being a blob of blood. And this blob of blood turns into a rabbit boy that the rabbits raise as one of their own. They clothe him in a very special skin. But eventually they let him go, and he goes into the village where he meets a girl who falls for him, not just for his appearance, but also for his kind heart. And he really impresses them with his great abilities, which in here are described as his visions, where he is wrestling with the sun, racing the sun, playing hand games with the sun, and always winning. But he comes across somebody who is antagonizing and envious of his attention, and that is Iktomi, who is a Spider-Man, who is described as being the mean trickster, prankster, and witch doctor. And he ends up planting a seed to the point that there are people that turn on him and tie him up to be cut up and killed, which Rabbit Boy at this point is able to have one last impact by singing some kind of song that would allow him to resurrect. And this song happens to be, "Friends, friends, I have fought the sun. He tried to burn me up, but he could not do it. Even battling the sun, I held my own." when Iktomi sees the fact that Rabbit Boy has resurrected, he wants to go through the same fate, and he he tries to duplicate the song as well, so he can have the same kind of resurrection. And his song goes, "Friends, friends, I have fought the moon. She tried to fight, but I won. Even battling the moon, I came out on top." When he is cut up and left out, nothing happens. So it really goes to show you not just the impact that Rabbit Boy had and how his deeds were seen in a positive manner, but it also goes to show you the good traits that he had. His ability, the fact that he was confident in his song, valiant, honest. It was much more lyrical too, which his song really tended to flow, so he was really taking this seriously, and he was pretty optimistic that what he was doing with his life was the right thing. And Iktomi was a bit more arrogant with his approach. He was he was careless, he was audacious. The way that he approached the song, it almost seemed like he was taking it as a joke. And how can you mess up the sun and the moon part? What makes him think that if Rabbit Boy was all about taking on the sun, Iktomi must have not been paying attention. He must have been immersed in such envy that he screwed up probably the most important part of the song. The fact that he couldn't even choose the body that he was talking about. And then everything else was just very... There's a big difference between he tried to burn me up, but he could not do it, and she tried to fight, but I won. Very lackluster. Even battling the sun, I held my own, versus even battling the moon, I came out on top. Iktomi must have been really confident, and a little too optimistic to the point that things didn't necessarily go his way. The last two sentences in this tale are, "The spider had finally outsmarted himself. Evil tricksters always do." Which, I think he was a bit more cocky about being able to resurrect. But I think that the moral in itself has to do with honesty being the best policy, but living a good, clean life is always better than manipulative actions like Iktomi's were. This really definitely caught my attention. I thought that it really was creative in its structure and brilliant in its execution. I think that it was also... I think it really displayed an interesting sense of humor. And the fact that this comes from a time when humans and animals interacted with one another, knowing that background information is always helpful in itself. If you're interested in reading this and some more American Indian myths and legends, you should definitely check out this collection. And thank you for tuning into this video. For now, keep reading.